As expected, hurricane season shifting into another gear as we head deeper into August. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Justice. In this video, I'm going to cover the new trends with not one, but two areas that we're watching deep into the Atlantic and keeping an eye on the southeast as we do have a system possible right off the Carolina coast. What we're watching right now, in particular, is a new invest that was just named. But there are a couple of waves that are moving off the coast of Africa that have a better chance at becoming a named tropical system and likely two hurricanes if our models are correct, and we have new data in that shows where those could potentially be going. And there's a trend, and that's good. When we have trends, we know what we're concerned about and what we're not necessarily as concerned about. And there's one today I'm less concerned about and one that I'm more concerned about. So folks, if you're new to this channel, please like this video, subscribe to this channel or follow this page, turn on notifications, and let me know right now in the comment section where you're watching from right now. We'll get this conversation going because what we're watching right now are a few changes. Okay, so what we're watching for you folks in the islands would be, some flooding rains from possible some areas that aren't really named right now. There's a lot of moisture building up here across the Caribbean, so Central America in here, we're watching that. Please let me know where you're watching from there. There's also a lot of moisture building right here across the Gulf. This is spinning up what could be a little low pressure system right here. Model's not really buying into it, and it's really struggling right now, to be honest with you. So the good news, that is moving away, and as it moves away, it may become a system as it's pulling away from the United States. So impacting very little, if any, buddy. All right, so deeper out, there's a new invest that was just labeled, which means we now have higher data models on this. It also gives us an opportunity to look closer at this system, which we will. This looks to be a fish storm. Yesterday, the GFS had this getting closer to the United States. Today, it's more in line with the European at curving it out. But there's another wave that's moving off the coast of Africa right now, which does have a better chance at one, becoming a hurricane, and two, not doing the recurve, at moving farther to the west. Where it goes from there, that's what we need to dive in on, and that's what I'll cover in this video. So in the Gulf, we're watching it for you. Plenty of storm action across Florida today. Where in Florida are you watching from right now? Please let me know. I know you're all over Florida right now. As we're watching this and mapping it out, there will be a chance for more storms over the next couple of days as the summer storms and heat and humidity continue. But right now, off the coast of Africa has been where the action has been. We've got an invest right here, and honestly, it's looking pretty healthy. Over the next 12 to 24 hours, this will likely gradually intensify, and our models do show this possibly become not only a tropical storm, but a hurricane, and the name would be Aaron. Deeper to the east, off the coast of Africa, is another wave that's going to splash down. This one has a different type of a setup, and we'll have to watch that because it looks like it may go more to the west. So here's a fresh look at the hurricane map, what we're seeing and where we're seeing it. The chances of this development off the Carolina coast looking less and less likely. And the good news, the circulation that's with it right now, not very organized. So if it does get a name, it'll be where Dexter got a name, moving away from the United States. So not as concerned about this. Rip current's a concern, possibly, yes, along the East Coast, but more just messing up some shipping lanes and moving into cooler waters like Dexter is soon to do. As we look at this wave that's now an invest, has a 60% chance of becoming a named tropical system when it moves into this location. Now, there's still a window, as you can see here from the National Hurricane Center's cone of uncertainty at this point, if you'll call it that, basically the polygon that they drew, that if it follows somewhere on this lower path, that it would go more to the west. But even so, I am less and less concerned that this is going to make a beeline towards you folks in the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, or get into the Caribbean at any point, or even the Gulf at any point. So this one looks like it does become a name system, likely Aaron out of this, and then we'll turn our attention to what happens over here, all right? What this is happening right now, we got an invest, and again, we got a floater on it. We got the satellite that's following this right here, and there are some signs as we're mapping this out that it's getting better organized, that it's getting a little bit more beefy. So it would not surprise me if this does become a named tropical entity. Now, the new models, we've only got a few of them they're running at this point, but they're in pretty good agreement. There's Bermuda, of course, always watching it for you folks in Bermuda, but right now it looks like it is a safe bet, watching it, but a safe bet that you're off the hook on this one across the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico. All right, so that's certainly some good news in a season that's starting to ramp up here. Is the Lesser Antilles having a lower chance of this developing? GFS model plumes in great agreement as well. You got good density right in here. You've got good agreement. You hear me talk about the ensembles. You've got the deterministic run, which is in red, the black, the ensembles. So the average of all the computer models, basically showing this curve even more pronounced. The operational will likely correct itself back toward this, so that's some good news. That we have a lot of agreement from the GFS suite on what's going to happen. Now, strength-wise, this is the ships model. Got a couple of different things you can look at here. Category 1 is what it's calling for on its latest model. They're showing that as it moves, it's going to enter some warmer waters. That in particular is going to help give it some strength. The max potential intensity, it does have the potential to grow into a stronger system. So the storm fuel there, the heat content is just through the roof with this area that we're watching. The relative humidity does drop a little bit, but it's negated by all of this other activity that's going to basically help it. So we know that this is going to be a possible hurricane, but the threat is there for Bermuda, but really even Bermuda looks like it's going to be to the west side of this. Let's unpack the computer model data. We're going to look at each one of these individually and see where they may go. So you're looking for blues here. That would be a blip of lower pressure. Here is Dexter. There's the eastern United States. Here are the Lesser Antilles. All right, so you got me? You following? Let me know if you have any questions. All right, here we go. Lower pressure forming. I mean, it's already there. I think throughout the day on Thursday, this thing gets better organized, and we've got something to watch. Probably becoming a tropical depression, maybe get a potential tropical cyclone out of this. We'll begin to get some tracking abilities. You also have a lower pressure forming here going into Friday off the Carolina coast, far enough out that I don't think it impacts land. All right, so GFS shows this system already starting to recurve before it even gets going, and now it gets better organized into the weekend. Getting closer to Bermuda on this track, the 18Z, but look over here. You've already got a 999 low Wednesday, all right? So while the attention is on this, because it's probably going to be the first one, look at the Bermuda high. Now look at where it was whenever this system started. It was positioned in a much different location, and it's not really a strong Bermuda high right now. So that allowed this system to curl up into it. Now, look at what happens when this Bermuda high shifts. This allows a little bit of a kink in it and kind of nudges the Bermuda high over a little bit. Does that make sense? So Bermuda high kind of relocates over here. So when this system is getting going or organized, it has a little more of a western path to it. So that's why I'm more concerned about this one, because it doesn't look like a fish storm, all right? So here we are. It's from that mess that's happening right now. Oh, sorry, that's Florida. It's from this mess that's happening right here off the coast, all right? So it's this. That is the second wave. Here's the first one. All right, so back to the GFS. Watch that. So the first one we know is not really that big of a concern, with the exception of Bermuda. We know that this second one needs to be watched. New GFS model shows don't let your guard down in the Caribbean, all right, because there's a lot of activity, a lot of moisture there too. This shows we've got a Cat 1, Cat 2 heading toward the Lesser Antilles by next weekend. We're early. We're not sounding the alarm bells yet. Folks, my whole point of this page, just so you know, if you're new to it, is to give you an early warning and a transparent forecast. That does rely on you to have some responsibility to take that information responsibly. Don't go tell your friends, your family members, hey, there's a hurricane heading here next weekend. No, that's not what Chris Justice said, okay? If I said that on TV, it would cause a lot of concern. I don't do that. But what I'm telling you and what I'm transparent at, and what honestly the purpose of you watching this channel is to give you an early warning so that you can plan. Not to hype anything. I'll tell you when it's time to be concerned. It is not time to be concerned right now in the islands or the United States. It is, however, a time to be dialed in, because that signal from August 15th through the 25th is there for a strong hurricane to form and move toward the west. All right, that's all we know at this point. Folks, I'm big on winter weather forecasting too, with where I broadcast in the Carolinas, and what I do on TV with winter weather forecasting is tell you about a pattern. hey, there's a pattern that features snow. There's a pattern that features it, but I don't know how much yet. But as we get closer, I will. Same thing with this. I don't know where this GFS is going to eventually send this storm system, but I know that it's showing there is going to be one. And I know the time frame is sometime late next week. All right, so let's map this on out just for what it's worth here. This shows a very strong hurricane, Cat 2, Cat 3, heading toward the northern part of the island chain right here. St. Martin, getting close to Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, Jamaica taking a hit from another hurricane. It's got a tropical storm forming on the other side of it. You probably have two systems with tracks this way if the GFS were to be correct, okay? Not saying it is, but we're watching it. And there has been some consistency here in the models with some western systems and multiple western systems, okay? So multiple tropical systems trying to form here. Meanwhile, high pressure, drier air starts to subdue the main development region. That does look to be the case the last week of April, first week of September. However, it's too little too late for these two waves right here. All right, so both of these, this is a 959 and a 992, big strong hurricane, probably Cat 1 hurricane, all right, are moving toward the west. Now this GFS blows this Caribbean guy up in the Gulf as a 935. That'd be a Cat 4, Cat 5. Wow, okay, that's a pretty aggressive GFS. Thank you for that. Got a double barrel system right here, one on the East Coast, one in the Gulf. That's a dangerous looking setup, all right? Not saying it's going to happen, but it's not a good look here from the GFS. Let's show you what the model run one before it showed. Much different look, but at the same time, some similarities. So what we know, let's talk about what we know before what we don't know. We know there's a low pressure. We know it's probably going out to sea. Check. All right, good. So we have some agreement on our model runs here. We know that that second wave is going to be much more pronounced, and because the Bermuda high shifts, it's going to move more west. All right, so I know two things now. There's two positives. We know that it's a strong 994, so probably a tropical storm or a Cat 1 by midweek next week, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's when, folks, that's when I would say, hey, time to start making your preparations in the islands. Windward Islands, Leeward Islands. We'll start getting in on not only just Lesser Antilles, we'll start getting in on specific islands that will be concerned. Okay, does that make sense? We're not just going to tell you, like I do in winter forecasting, hey, somewhere in North or South Carolina it's going to snow. You know, there's a point in time where I do say that. But as we get closer, I start saying counties that are going to get the snow. I start saying how much they're going to get and exactly what time it's going to arrive. Right now, I know there's probably going to be something out there next week. All right. So this time next week is when we're getting concerned. We got a week before then, folks. But the whole point of you watching this, the whole point of this channel is to give you early warning, and that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. Mapping this out, the earlier run of the GFS shows a big bad hurricane moving toward the northern part of the islands here. It does not show this Caribbean creature just yet, and really never does. It's got this 960 low, kind of threading that needle between the Outer Banks and Bermuda. Big time hurricane here. Cat 3, Cat 4, and then it curves out. Gets close to Nova Scotia, but never really hits the United States, which is good. All right, let's go 3 runs back. All right, our first wave, no threat. Second wave coming in weak. Kind of negligible in here over Cuba. Okay, I'd be fine with that run. So that's 3 runs ago. How about 4 runs ago? So far out as I can get it. Same thing, first wave, nada, good. Second wave doesn't really develop 4 runs ago, but the Caribbean guy does. Goes through Central America, gets into the Gulf, and that's where it stops. So that's 4 runs of the GFS. Let's look under the hood of the GFS. Oops, excuse me. All right, let's look under the hood of the GFS and just show you that a little closer. The latest run of the GFS, getting it close to Bermuda there with that first wave. Where are we at here? I got to zoom out a little bit. Excuse me. Let me fix this real quick. We'll go Caribbean. There we are. Here's just another look at it. So it wants to develop that Caribbean thing near Jamaica. Move it over Cuba. and then gets it toward the Keys. And that last few frames of it, you got two big hurricanes here on the other side of Florida. Okay, so that's the midday run of the GFS. Let's see if it has support from the ensemble members. All right, what you're looking at here is the lowest pressure of the ensembles. So let's just run that model through. I mean, you got some Gulf action here on the ensembles. You got similar looks. So, I mean, toward the end of it, you do have some similar looks here. There's some ensemble support for a cluster of low pressure right here on the east coast of Florida. You've got a cluster here that has in the Gulf as well, and both of them are strong. So I'd say the GFS does have support from within its models. Let's look at the low pressure locations, how many there are. Toward the end, you've got something north of the island chain there. Some in the Caribbean too. So, I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and probably 8. 8 out of 28. So roughly a third of the models are showing either side there. So again, it does have some support from within its own camp, which, you know, if you're looking for consistency there, that would provide that. Let's look at the European. First, you got the half-day run, which gets us out, gives us at least that first wave, curves way before Bermuda. So that's good. How about the second wave? Does it form anything? It's got some lower pressure. It's got a very weak Bermuda high that's way to the east. So what does it do to this? Well, let's rewind that footage here. Go to the last full run of the European. Looks very similar to what the midday run shows, so that's good. The first wave out to sea, no problem. What does it do with this second one? It's got another westward guide. Bermuda high starts to strengthen after being kind of impacted by whatever this first wave is. And because it was pushed to the east a little bit, this is now allowing it to steer this other one to the west. So European has a little bit more of a western jog here. Then it jogs it north toward Bermuda, 972. So that first wave and the second wave go north on the European, and that's where it lies. Okay, so European has a big bad storm, but it curves it out. What does the run before that one show? Let's wrap out. All right, so that first wave goes out to sea. Second wave's weak until it gets to the islands. Then you got a tropical storm hitting basically Windward, Leeward Islands, and then you know that's next weekend. Gets into Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and Haiti is a hurricane. Cuba is a hurricane. Then it gets toward the Florida Keys the following Thursday. All right, so it's got that wave moving west on the last European. How about that same run closer in? Let's look at that. Second to last run, it's got it in there. This is the European from 2 runs ago. The last full run one besides this last one, and it's got something more west. So a little GFS-like on that one. How about the ensembles? Or no, sorry, the AI version. Let's look at the AI version, and let's zoom it out a little bit. Here's the AI Euro. First wave. All right, first wave. First wave kind of moves more west on this one, kind of. You got 2 of them. You got more of a northern. You got Bahamas now. And on this Monday, the 19th, and then you got it going up through the east coast of Florida. So the Euro AI at 12Z showed that. The latest run, let's map that out. First wave coming in. You know, what's hard to discern with this European is it never really shows that Invest 96 forming. It just kind of has this blob moving west and goes toward the islands late next week. Then the Bahamas, Cuba, and eventually the Gulf. That's not a good look. So the Euro AI, different than its original counterpart. All right, so how about the ensembles? What are they showing? Let's look at that. This is the ensemble run from midday. Let's go to the last full run. Sweep this out. You got some Gulf action. Look at all that. Yeah, so there's some good consistency here in the 18th, 19th time frame of something here. Bermuda, Outer Banks-ish. You got a few down here in the Caribbean, but not a lot. But you do, unfortunately, have some Gulf. So that look of Gulf, Southeast Coast, you know, showing up on the Euro ensemble as well. At least a recognition of something there. Let's map out the European ensemble low location. So you got 51 different options here. Again, folks, if you're not used to me saying the ensembles, basically the ensembles are the same European model run 51 different times, but each time we try to trick the model a little bit. Throw a little more moisture in it, a little less moisture, different location, different timing. And if you end up with the same results after running the model, you know you probably got something you can hang your hat on. And in this case, we got something to watch toward next week. A lot of somethings to watch. A lot of those lows in here between Bermuda and the Outer Banks, but also a lot of them here closer to Bermuda and into the Gulf. 959, 942, 922. Some big bad ones in here. But again, out of 51 runs, you probably have 15 or 20, so roughly half of them are showing something in that vicinity. So we do have some, at least, model consistency. Here's the last full run of the Euro AI ensembles. So again, Euro AI, new to us, a new tool to us. You're not looking at individual storms, but basically the cluster of them would indicate where the model's trying to say, hey, there could be a low pressure. And then, again, this is the ensemble, so it's an average of them all. A lot of activity here on that time frame of the 19th, 20th, 21st, right here off the southeast coast. And then there's a big congruence here in the Gulf. So there's, again, some support here from the AI Euro of something here and something here, which is interesting because it's a totally different model, completely different model than the GFS. So both of them are picking up on separate entities. How about if you average them together and give you kind of a nice swath? Red would indicate what's going to form and where. We got Dexter moving away. You got that little Carolina thing that's looking less and less likely. You also have a little Gulf something. It's weak, but it's at least a signature. And then you got this Caribbean. We'd have to watch the southern part of the Caribbean here. And if we map that out, it's that time frame of 14th, 15th, 16th. So something could form in here. Something definitely looks to form in here with Invest 96 over the next couple of days. Right now, the Euro is more west, okay? And then, you know, does it curve up through Bermuda or east? That's yet to be determined. And then there's this back here toward the west that would try to form after it. Another way we can look at that, this is instead of a swath like that, it's lines. So here are the individual low pressure systems and where they go. Invest 96 going out to sea on this model. Then you've got another little thing right in here, which multiple of the models here want to show if you look at your key up here, 60, 70, 80 mile per hour or not winds. And then you got this little low right here. It's a separate low moving west. And that, my friends, is the one I'm more concerned about, is that second wave that goes west. Look at all those lows. I mean, you got at least 25 to 30. So more than half of the 51 different runs of the European showing something in here. And roughly 5 to 10 of them showing something trying to crop up here in the Caribbean and moving toward the Gulf. So there is, unfortunately, some consistency with what those models are showing and where. And at this point, folks, I wouldn't expect those computer models to give me anything else. I would expect them to showcase something. Hey, we got to watch this area and this area. But I'm not looking at details. I mean, I'm looking to say, are there some strong ones? Sure. But I'm not looking, hey, they're all showing Cat 3. No, I'm looking more at where they're at and what the pattern is kind of supporting in that area. So, folks, thank you for tuning in, and if you're new to the channel and you like this no-nonsense approach to weather, please like this video, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe to this channel right now. I do want to give you a few shout-outs from our last video because I just love reading where you guys are watching from, and it just really intrigues me with all the different locations. Joy Clark says, love your reporting. Thank you from Calabash, North Carolina. Lester, North Carolina. Cynthia says, thanks, best meteorologist out there. So authentic. Cynthia, you made my day. Jack says, you're up there with Brian Shields. Bravo. Oh, that's some high praise there, Jack. Thank you for that. Brian's a machine for sure. Hope says, watching in Central Florida, York County, but my mother's in South Florida. Thank you, Chris. You bet. Sebring, Florida. Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Watching carefully. You are surrounded with trees. Claire, all right. We'll keep you posted there. She says, I lived in Connecticut until 8 years ago, right along the coast of Connecticut, looking over Long Island. Boy, did we get our share. I can imagine. Some of those models did show your old stomping grounds could get something, but thankfully the models are trending a little away from that. But we'll be watching. Southeast Georgia, keep us posted. You bet, Rita. Thanks for keeping us in the loop. Watching from Orlando. Penny, thank you. Wanda watching right now. We got Palm Harbor, Florida. Greenwood, Philadelphia, Jacksonville, Florida. I've watched Jane Spann for years and consider him one of the best of all weather, but I got to say, you just gave the best detailed expression of how these models work for these tropical systems that may or may not occur all the way, and how the forecast center responds, and that precision, if I'd ever seen it. Well, hey, thank you for saying that, and that's, again, high praise. Somebody's mentioned Brian Shields and Jane Spann in the same sentence. Wow. Thank you guys very much. Tawania saying hello from the upstate. Hello. We've got Rock Hill in the house. We've got Lutz, Florida, Sarasota, Florida, Central Florida, Wilson, North Carolina. Wow, the second one is scary. Yeah, the second one's definitely got my eyes. Baltimore, Maryland in the house. Greenwood, Simpsonville, Puerto Rico. All right. Rivera, thank you for watching. Jacksonville, Big Bend region of Florida. You've had your fair share. We'll keep you posted. Nikita, North Carolina. Alteboro, Massachusetts. I hope we can get a very weak tropical storm or a hurricane in New England. Weather's been so boring lately, but your forecasts are better than the others. I'm recommending this to other family members so they can get some updates. Aiden, thank you so much. Who else we have here? We got Louisiana in the house. Long Island, New York. All right, Roxanne, thanks for joining me. Tell your friends and family. I don't know about you guys. I've not fully recovered from Hurricane Helene. We don't need any more crazy weather. You and me both. Yeah, no doubt. Conway, North Carolina. Hello from ATL. Weren't you in Savannah at some point? I sure was. Yeah, that was my first gig out of school, Savannah, Georgia, where I met my wife. It's a good place. Yep. Still got family down that way. Downstate, Mount Pleasant. This is not a fun season. Yeah, definitely. West North Carolina in the house. Watching North Carolina between Wilmington and Topsail. Number one, if you will, is going to be a literal pop-up storm. Yeah, that thing was kind of crazy, right? Thankfully, it doesn't look to be a big one. Honeypath in the house. Florida, Broward County. Yeah, Broward County's in Brevard County. Broward. Yeah, Brevard County. Treasure Coast. Yep, thank you for saying that. Yep. Yeah, the model yesterday was what you're referring to. The GFS had it going right into Brevard County. Thank you. Broward down south, of course. East Coast, I'm in Florida. My family is in Georgia, South Carolina, New York, Massachusetts. Thank you, Chris. Do you have a weather app for iPhone that you would recommend? You know, there are a lot of good ones out there as far as hurricanes are concerned. National Weather Service is a good one to alert you to any kind of warnings in your neck of the woods. Santa Fe, Texas. Thank you watching, Ronald. Trinidad and Tobago, safest island. We are out of the hurricane belt. Hope others in the islands are safe. We'll keep you posted, Andy. Thank you for watching. Will the sun ever come back out in West North Carolina? Yes, finally. It's back out today. Hilton Head in the house. Icon data. Yeah, let's look at the icon here. We'll end with that. Guadalupe and Maryland in the house. All right, let's go to the icon. I do want to show you that. I was going to bring that one up a little bit ago. Let's switch that over right here. And let's switch it to moisture. All right, ending it with the icon. Here you go. Got a little wave going way east of Bermuda. Let's look at the last full run, see if we can get an indication of where that second wave is going. It's got a little Caribbean action in here. Last full run of that gets us into here to the Yucatan Peninsula. So icon trying to sniff something out in the Gulf. And as we zoom out a little bit, little wave right in here. That second one. So little more west on the Icon. Just doesn't go out as far as the European. We only get 180 hours on the German Icon versus the European and the GFS. Folks, I will keep you posted right here. And again, thank you for watching. I will stay on top of it for you each and every day here through hurricane season. And again, if you're new to the channel, please let me know where you're watching from. I'll shout you out next video.